First reading when I don't look like a homeless terrorist with my beard and my hair that was like, oh. And guess what? You have a special guest. You know who she is. The boss herself. She has been waiting. She's been telling me to start this reading. Esme, you're here for it, huh? You really having a connection to this chart. Show your little face. My little magical Neptunian cat. You're gonna help me with this reading, aren't you? So Esme's here. Esme's in the house. Well, she's always in the house, but you know, she's present. Which Esme, stop scratching and trying to type something. Esme, you little schmook. Okay. Oopsies. Hold on 1 second.
Sagittarius and 10th house in Capricorn. Like I'm not necessarily talking about like.
All right. We are back. We are ready. So let's do it. Esme, are you ready to rumble? Bing, bing, bum. So, what do we got here? Miss JiJu, that's a cool name. JiJu. I love the anonymous names I give people. Ooh la la, I love that. So, just I don't like to talk about myself. Like, I mean, I don't know. Your first reading for me. I don't like to talk about myself unless I see like some crazy stuff. But I just find it interesting that obviously I know you and I don't always like recognize someone's name when I'm doing the reading, but I do for you. And you have your Neptune right on my moon, and my moon's 21 Sag, your Neptune's 19. That doesn't matter, but it's just cool. It just shows that like there's like that my Sag moon like sort of has like a nice, I don't want to call it activating because that implies it I did something, but like basically like it speaks to your Neptunian, like it like kind of helps like it open up that Neptunian archetype within you that's conjunct your sun, which is such a big part of what we have going on. And Neptune conjunct sun, so we're very similar because like I'm a Pisces, Neptune, Sag moon, and you're a Sag moon with Neptune. So very cool. And moon's in Cancer on the midheaven. All right, so South Node and Pisces too. Wow. Okay. All right, I'm seeing some things already. Got my iPad out. So, wow, look at you. Okay, I haven't looked at your Chiron. I swear to God, I haven't seen it. You have Mercury and Uranus conjunct. Let's see if I can guess this correctly. You have Chiron in Gemini. If not Gemini, Virgo. And I'm not gonna guess a different one. But if someone had a gun to my head, like you have one more chance. Fuck, I don't know. I'd say like Cancer, Taurus, but no, it's definitely my guess is one of those first two. Let's see if I'm right. Taurus. Oh God, that's funny. The one that I was like kind of intuitively feeling. So why did I say that? Why did I say that? Well, the reason I said that is because um having Mercury and Neptune or in Uranus together in Scorpio is like such genius energy. Like, oh my God. And a lot of clients I have who have this, right, is they can feel very misunderstood. Um, and because they're very ahead of their time. But we'll get back to that. I just wanted to see if I could pull a little magic out, but I failed. But I'll talk more about that placement, or I'll talk about that placement. But anyways, let's start with the basics. So, North Node conjunct Mars in Virgo in the 12th with Jupiter too. Interesting. So Pisces South Node in the 6th. So you have Libra rising. So you have like the flip chart the Libra risings do, because the first house, is linked to Aries, and it goes around. Second house Taurus, third house Gemini. So the Libra rising, it's it's different, right? It's the opposite of Aries. So every planet, like, you have your moon in the 10th house, your moon in Cancer, and it's in the house of Capricorn, the opposite sign of Cancer, right? So it creates this real, like, it's about the balance, right? Like Libra's the balance, and really it kind of creates these themes, these very, like, the axes in a Libra rising chart. It's actually like a really interesting rising, because I feel like it gives you this dual perspective on so many areas of life, right? And it really is all about balancing, because for example, moon in the 10th in Cancer, you know, you're really trying to balance out that Cancer and Capricorn, inner and outer life, feminine and masculine. Right? You're trying to balance that out, and it goes for every placement. So, all right. So North Node, I like to start with like the karmic stuff these days. It's been really, really fun and good. North Node, it's with Mars in the 12th, in Jupiter. So, to me, when you have your North Node in Virgo, you're really trying to go towards, especially in the 12th, which is the house of Pisces. It's really this deep spiritual journey. Um, when I see this, my instant gut is like, this is someone who has all kinds of, from like a spiritual perspective, right? We're all magicians, but some are more magicians than others. And as a Pisces South Node, you are someone who, and is there any squares? No. So, let me just check on my eyes. These larger orbs. Sun is 10 degrees. So, well, I mean, the way I would look at that is like, it could be a situation where, you know, karmically, you have all these gifts, right? All these like Piscean mystical gifts in this life, that comes from past lives. When I see the Virgo North Node in the 12th, I think that there's a need to really, really dive, to use your own spiritual mastery, which comes innately to you, especially with Neptune on your sun, to, in a high Virgo way, right? So through organization, through consistency, um, to dive into 12th house matters, and to really, like, it could be the case that you have past lifetimes as someone who is doing a lot of spiritual work, helping people in a very compassionate way. Um, the 6th house, it's about service. 12th house is also about service, but the 12th house also takes on a very karmic element, and it's very ethereal. Um, and, obviously it's also very linked to karma. So I'm actually gonna put my face on the screen. Esmond, why'd you run away? Esmond, he'll come back. He'll come back at the right moment. So, with the North Node conjunct Mars in Virgo, it's very interesting. But like North Node 12th house, it's like, maybe like, so sometimes with Pisces South Node, there's like an energy where there weren't, like, the Virgo, it's kind of pushing you to have that consistency, and to have that, or like, for example, with spirituality, to actually to go out and really, really, really do it, to really organize your life in that respect, right? and with Mars to really like attack this area of life, right? Because sometimes Pisces South Node can be a little bit dreamy in the sense that like sometimes they don't attack, or like they can kind of like have all like the dreams, all the ideas, but not fully do it. And dedication, right? So also one thing about Pisces South Node, sometimes there can be a feeling of like, having lost the self, right? Of having, and potentially lied to the self. And maybe it comes from some type of sixth house, it could be overworking, it could be like overly extending yourself for other people in some type of way, where through that you weren't able to really do as much deep inner work on yourself. But we're gonna roll with this hypothesis. We're gonna see how it develops. But yeah, the North Node in 12th house is super spiritual. I mean, it's the person who wants to feel themselves selves feel themselves, not selves, or yourselves if you have multiple personalities, who knows. Um, as a part of like the oneness, the greater whole, all that is, right? Um, so there is that need to learn kind of mind over matter, right? That's like Virgo. It's like the consistency that I keep talking about. Sometimes Pisces can be a little bit wishy-washy, right? Like I said, has the ideas, but then doesn't follow through. So it's really about kind of like finding ways to, dedicate, continue to dedicate yourself to service of others, right? But also um to not allow that kind of Piscean daydreaming and potential feeling like overwhelmed. Like some really great healers, they don't go that direction because they feel like they take in too much. So it can be like learning energetic protection, and basically it's like really unleashing this South Node Pisces, which is like the past life mystic, you know. And there's so much compassion innately and so much wisdom, but it's like, how can it be put to practical use, right? To like for humanity, but also for the self. And I see the Pluto square moon, so for the bloodline as well, right? um so we'll see if that theme develops also, because you have a Cancer moon square Pluto, and a lot of my clients have the Pluto moon stuff going on. Hades moon, Hades moon, is it just a conjunction? I think it's if it squares it too. Let me just verify that. I literally read it the other day, but I just want to like triple check. But yeah, I mean it's like the most like shadow worker healer. Yes, it says a conjunction, square, opposition, trine, or sextile from Pluto to your moon. A conjunction is the most intense, followed by a square opposition. Yeah. So I don't know about the sextile and the trine, because those are yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so Hades moon. So we'll talk about that. Um, but yeah, just like with the like karmic stuff, like having Mars and Jupiter on the North Node in the 12th. When you have Mars on the North Node, it really is challenging you to become assertive and to really focus your energy on the goals indicated by the North Node. So it takes on like another meaning of like really wanting independence in this lifetime. Perhaps the fact that it's opposing the South Node, perhaps there was something in a past life that held you back from fully being able to go towards towards truly letting out this full spiritual energy, right? um let me see. Hold on. 9 9. Yeah, so I like to kind of talk Placidus and whole sign. I mean, I'm a whole sign astrologer. I like to, give the Placidus view. Because your South Node would most likely be in the fifth house, right? You're born in, yeah. So it'd be the fifth house in Placidus, I would assume. I can pull it up, but um so that actually makes a lot of sense to me too, because that speaks to like the this energy, right, of maybe having kept more to yourself, and in this lifetime how you're really meant 11th house north node in Placidus to take it's kind of similar to what I was saying, but to really like to join the to help the collective, right, to really bring your talents that maybe you held in. Maybe it was because I always think of like the witch hunts, like that kind of energy. Maybe it was because some type of fear, um or maybe it was just something that you kept to yourself, um, which, yeah, like with Mars opposing it, it could have been because of some type of some kind of danger to you. So now in this lifetime, you're in a place where you can actually really find this Neptunian magic that's on your sun, right? So I'll get into that in a sec, but the fact that your south node's ruled by Neptune on your sun makes it way more available to you. And yeah, so yeah, self-confidence is really a big karmically important. Independence, self-confidence. So, you could be kind of put into leadership positions, which could feel a little bit odd if that happens because of the Pisces South Node. Um, but then you are a Sag, so you're ready. Sag are great leaders. But it's all part of the karmic journey. And with Jupiter, you know, so that opposing the south node, it could indicate that, yeah, there's something that maybe held back your sense of expansion and adventure. Um, so it's really about, through your spiritual practice, seeing the big picture, right? And having Mars conjunct Jupiter is such a good conjunction. And really another part of your karmic journey for you is inspiring other people. It could even be like being a spiritual teacher, a spiritual guide of some sort. Um, you know, really just being able to, yeah, also being parts of groups, of groups and the right community is really important. So all that stuff is very important, but we'll kind of wrap around to that. I think that Jupiter, yeah, just Jupiter, yeah, there's yeah, really this desire to see yourself once again as a part of the grand whole, which is Jupiter, is like that perspective. And I made a video today about truth, um which, by the way, I should send you a DM to let you know, get you excited. Oh shit. I had a video up that I was going to post. All right, I can message you on here. That's better. Followers. Followers. Can't look at a photo, don't look at a photo, don't look at a photo, don't look at a photo. I don't like to cheat. Okay. Your time is now. Okay, just want to get you excited. Don't look at the photo. Do not look. Do not look. Do not look. Captain Hook. Captain Hook. Okay. All right, very good, very good, very good. Okay. Anyways, so um so yeah, so when we okay, so now Sun, so Sag Sun third house with Neptune, right? You are, obviously Sag, like, so okay, you have Sag Sun square Jupiter, so that's interesting. I have the Sun square Jupiter too. So your Sun is ruled by Jupiter and squared by it. So Jupiter is all, so basically what I define that is that Sag is already very expansive, right? So it's actually not like a bad square. It's just really important to not take too many crazy risks, like gambling or something like that. Like I always give the metaphor of Superman or Superwoman syndrome, where it's like the person who just like can put too much on their own plate. Oh shit, I'm so stupid. I literally forgot to order food. Let me just see if anything's open. Oh my god, no chance. 6 minutes if this place will actually deliver. Oh, I cannot believe I did that. Are you kidding me? This is actually sad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my God. And they don't have the one thing I like. What's open? What's open? What's open? And they don't have any food here. No, not Jerry's Pizza. Oh my God. This is tragedy. All right. You know what? We're just doing this. Hopefully they deliver. No, 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 no. They're not gonna. Oh my God! No, no, no! I just fucked up so bad. I just deleted my order. No, quick, 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 quick. Okay, here. Two. They're probably not gonna accept it. Sorry about this, by the way. There's no way they're gonna accept it. It's 4 minutes before it closes. Okay. See if they accept it. There's no way they're gonna get this order 3 minutes before they close and be like, "Fuck this guy." And spit in his food. I'm not accepting it. I'd be pissed if I was working in a restaurant. Oh, they accepted it. Thank God. Actually, I mean, for the sake of money, I'd be happy, but I'd be pissed if I was just a worker and you're posing at 11, some fucking dude orders at 10:57. But whatever. Okay. Back to work. Thank God. I don't know how I forgot. Um, so as I'm talking, right? Like having this Sag energy, right? Square Jupiter, you just have to watch out for like, promising too much and yeah, like the metaphor, right? Like walking into a casino thinking you're gonna win no matter what, right? But it's kind of like one of those things where it's like shoot for the what is it? Shoot for the stars and hit something else. I forget. But basically the idea that like, it can give some like sometimes people with that can have like a very like they can be like very, very overly confident, like overly optimistic and overly idealistic, which is great, but they have to just know that about themselves. And it can sometimes be a little bit egotistical. I haven't seen it that way that much. But it makes someone really have the ability to reach their goals because Sag is all about expansion, right? So it's just like, I have this. That's probably why, you resonate with me, and I'm sure I resonate with you. Well, I do. But you know, like it's like this expansion, like this anything is possible energy, right? Now, the fact that you have your sun with Neptune, which rules your South Node in Pisces, is so cool because it basically means that it gives you like this kind of like Sag slash Pisces sun, right? And the beauty in that is that you have this fiery kind of like leader, like adventurous, you know, Sag philosopher kind of energy, right? And then you have this Neptune, which is all about compassion, which is all about oneness, which is all about, um, you know, it really makes people, it active, it makes it so your past life gifts, right, are activated through your sun. And, you know, crazy, like in a good way, like amazing imagination. Um, and I think that people with the Neptune there, like they need like a creative outlet, you know. And they're very otherworldly is the word that I would use, right? Um, very, very, you know, could be someone who's an or actress, singer, you know, like, and I know I say all these things a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm not artistic at all, but like it's not only about like doing it, it's like being able to appreciate it. I believe that different people have different levels of being able to appreciate art, right? And you are very, you know, like very, very high on that. Now, the difficulty with the Neptune on the sun is that it can create identity issues, which I would link to that Chiron in Taurus. Chiron's your spiritual pain, but also, you know, where you can become where you know where one's wounded. So of Chiron and Taurus, they can feel wounds around their self-esteem and sense of self-worth. Um, so you know, exploring the body and really like trying to like get grounded, like meditation would be the best thing for a child like this. Um, and but like really like, you know, Neptune, what it does is that it pushes us to not to have like a spiritual ego, but to get deeper into ourselves, to create that deep spiritual relationship with ourselves, and then life starts to make more sense. But to the Neptunian person, you know, on your sun, I consider, in the South Node, I consider that Neptunian with such a heavy 12th house. You're a fucking Neptunian for sure. Life, if you're just, if life is just being lived in kind of like the like boring, monotonous way, um, it can feel really, really annoying. You know, not annoying. It can feel very, come here, Esme. It can feel just like you're just like very depressing, like very like you're just going through the motions, right? That's why Neptune and Sag, they want something more. Come on, Esme. Yeah, she's coming. Esme, come here, baby. Come here. Come here, Esme. Come on, Esme. Come on. It's time for work. Come on. Good girl. You see, she always comes. Okay, you're gonna do your thing. Are we gonna film it for Instagram? No, we can't. Maybe we can on here. Probably not. I don't even know if I can film it. God, thing's stupid. We have to go to camera, Esme. Where is the camera? Okay. So here comes the magic. All right, here comes the magic kitty. So Esme, you're gonna do your thing. You're gonna help me. You're gonna look at the part of the chart that you really want me to focus on. Okay? You're getting paid a lot for this. So look, Esme. Oh, you meowed at the north node. She meowed at the north node. Was that it? See again. Oh, you see, she said, get me away. Thank you, Esme. So she's pointing out that north node in the 12th house with Mars, right? And it's very rare that you see someone that has that many conjunctions with the North Node, right? Like I can't think of the last time I saw that. So, you know, it's like, yeah, the North Node is in Virgo, but then you add an element of Mars, which you could look at as Aries, right? Reclaiming your sovereignty and your independence in this lifetime through your deep spiritual dive within yourself and within the zeitgeist, right? The collective unconscious. And then Jupiter, that adds kind of a Sag energy, which is, your it's your sun sign, obviously, right? So it's like it has that effect, right? I'm just posting Esmond, sorry. I'm sure you understand. She's a superstar. Oh my god, I didn't catch any of her. Whatever, doesn't matter. She's still the best. You want to do more, Esmond? You see, that's what she does when she's done. She just looks down at the Dell logo on my computer. So funny. Okay, so no more technology besides checking on my food. So yeah, basically like with Neptune on the sun, people, it's like about how can you create your dream, how can you take your dream life and your inspiration and create your identity out of that, right? But sometimes people can project on you too, and it's also very, very important as a Neptunian to have alone time, right? If you don't have alone time, you might feel like you're going crazy, because you pick up on so much on other people's energy, right? And um, you know, there's a lot there, right? Um, Watching out for substances. Always Neptunes have to watch out because like it's all about escape, right? Because they're used to the heavenly realms. Um, so in this very, very fucked up world, so like making sure you live in the right place, um, and just being very, very firm with your identity. But like when it comes to escapes, finding the healthy escapes. Because a lot, Neptunians can, it's like the quote, the addict and the mystic exist in the same, swim in the same waters. The mystic just learns to swim while the addict drowns. So yeah. Um, but yeah, besides that, when I see sun with Neptune, I think, okay, like Neptune is something that has to be activated, right? Um, and sometimes, people with this, like it goes back to what I was saying earlier, there can be that just that because there's such a sponge of energy, even if they're the best healer in the world, they can have you know, some fears or just like, not want to like be around people that are suffering because they feel it so much. So like I said earlier, like learning, like really getting in tune with the spiritual protection and all that. Um, so elementally, obviously you have the earth, air rising, fire, water. Yeah, you have all elements. Very good. So let's see. So okay, so what does Sag have to do with Cancer? Well, they are you have a quincunx between your sun and your moon. Very interesting. I don't see that too often. And it's within 1.2 degrees. So that's actually a big, big deal. Sun quincunx moon, right? Any kind of meaningful, use short orbs for the quincunxes, right? It's 150 degrees away. But basically, like a quincunx is like when two signs have nothing to do with each other. So the sun, your moon, it's like you're trying to balance these two sides of your personality, the masculine and the feminine part. Um, so with with quincunx, it's like they know nothing. Like they're so different. They're so different. So it can give, like there's this need to feed both mouths. And obviously the sky, but the thing that makes this a little bit easier is that Neptune is with the sun. So it does give it kind of a Pisces vibe. And obviously Pisces and Cancer work very well. But still it's a quincunx. And we could speak about like, if there's a quincunx or in conjunct, same thing. A square opposition between sun and moon. oftentimes it just means that the main message you receive from mom and from dad way different, right? And a lot of times I see it, and if the sun is squaring your nodes, if we use like the big orbs, which I use for those like 15, there's kind of that hero's journey, um Joseph Campbell type energy in your chart in this lifetime really being, the one where you're really trying to overcome something very deep. And it's like, like not like with parents, it's like not following parent A or parent B, really about blazing your own individual, based on your true self, your own individual path, right? Individualized path. Um, but yeah, like psychologically, it can kind of give like inconsistent moods, like a personality that's quite changeable, because like the Cancer moon obviously like wants that stability. It is very much a homebody, and Sag is literally the sign of traveling, right? So there'll be a part of you that is way more, very emotional, right? Your moon, you are emotional, very, very sensitive, very emotional as a Cancer moon is. But then so like if you like the Cancer part might be like, and I have the same thing as you, right? I'm a Sag Pisces, right? So it's like it's similar, right? Where there's like the Pisces, or like the water part, the Cancer part, which might want to be like, I just want to stay in. I just want to be a homebody. But then the sad part's like, no, let's go party. Let's go have adventures. So, but the fact that Sag is with Neptune, I think that adds like a real spiritual, artistic dimension to that Sagittarian expansion, and that the middle ground can be found through something like spirituality or through some kind of creative outlet, or you're just making sure you're feeding both mouths. Like maybe there's, like, for example, like one thing that I think about is the idea of like traveling and of adventuring, but still keeping a feeling of home while you're doing that, right? Um, so it could look like, for example, spending a lot of time, like if you like, let's say you're spending time in like in Costa Rica. I don't know. I just said that randomly. That'd be so crazy if you actually had something that with Costa Rica. Um, and like the as my stop. Okay, you have to go now. Unacceptable. Scratching my stuff. It'd be like instead it'd be like, having a night, like a place there that feels really grounding, and kind of like still having your home, but still being able to like be in a different country, right? Or living in a different country than where you're from, and like I've done, right? Like I live in Romania. I grew up in the U.S. I'm half French, half American, but this is my home. I'm very, very grounded here. So that's an example, right, of so many times. But on an inner level, it's like, you know, it, adventure, but also feeling grounded and very secure emotionally with the risks that you're taking, and the things that you're doing. So it's very interesting. I love that combo, Sag and Cancer. It's a beautiful combo. I know that they're offsetting, but I feel like when you can get them to work together, it just gives someone that has so much, like, not diversity, just so much. What's the word I'm thinking of? I forget English day by day. So much, like they have a lot of variety. They have a lot of, they're just very, they have a lot going on. They have a lot of different angles and sides to them, and it's just exciting. But yeah, this can also, there can be lots of stress and tension that can lead to like anxiety, feeling insecure, and yeah, it comes from like just like the clashes of these two sides. And if one side dominates, right, like the assertive masculine versus like the emotional feminine, then the tension comes, right? And a lot of people with these, like full moon or square, like they'll really favor one of them. And I've seen that a lot of times. uh like someone I know, I'm not going to say names, has a Cancer sun. He's a male, Cancer sun, Capricorn moon, and he definitely favors that Capricorn moon, right? Starting to change, but because Capricorn moon is more masculine. I know females who are in the same position. I can't have one. Nothing's coming to mind. But basically, like I can't think of one actually. But I know in my memory, like you know clients, friends, like I just can't remember who, that I've seen that same phenomenon happen on the feminine side. Although feminine, females tend to be more balanced in that sense, so especially if they're into astrology, they get it. But I've seen it where they will give into the more traditionally female side, right? So besides that, like what happens if so this is really really interesting is that if you don't give the Sag its light, then you would seek out the Sag in other people in a relationship or something like that sort. And if you don't give into the Cancer moon, right, that very emotional, Cancer moon needs that safety. They need to be able to really express their emotions. Like they might really seek that out and try to find that in the partner. So it's really important to, you know, yeah, because like it can just cause difficult relationships, right? Because you're the person's relying on the other person too much. Um, so yeah, it's all about like compromise, adjusting, adaptation, right? And finding that equilibrium. Um, and you know, just this is a big placement for anxiety. I'm just going to tell you. But that's why like the meditation and that North Node in Virgo is asking one. So you have Mars in Virgo too, which can be very critical and like in self-critical and then uh, uh hourly critical. But I've seen it in spiritual people who have done work being not necessarily being like that, but they have to get past perfectionism. So like North Node Virgo, it's asking you to the highest energy Virgo, which is not perfectionism. It is it's going for your best and really, really trying to give back and really, really trying to be as good as you can be, but like understanding your shortcomings and being able to have a sense of humor about them. That's how I see the best of Virgo. I see it as like a white dove. Um, got you knows. So um yeah, so also like there's definitely lots of energy that comes from the sun and moon being in an aspect like this, right? So it can make someone very successful in in their life, professional life and personal life, right? um but yeah, it's just like um it's really like subtle energy. um but like if it can be overcome and brought together, that's amazing. Like having Sag and Cancer, like whew, it's like so cool. I don't know. What else about this? So sometimes also with the Sag square, like there can be like sometimes Sag and Gemini, like that axis can be like scattered, like too many goals, like jack of all trades, master of none. So it can be a lot easier for Sag people to have like a single goal, as opposed to many, right? Because you might have like the urge to like achieve like this and that and this and that. But so it's not bad to like want to learn a lot about a lot of things and all that. It's very good to you know and I'm like this too, so I can't talk like I like thank God I found astrology because I am totally like I love learning about so much different stuff. But it's just when it comes to like being a master at something, obviously you have to put a lot of energy into that thing. um So I want to look up like the health stuff because yeah, so it's like the nervous and neurotic energy, it can cause health imbalances. Can, as I said. Um it can be like too much or not enough of like a certain hormone or chemical. Um so you know, there's this feeling of like always being on the go, and a lot of people with this like have like this like their relationships can lack harmony, and um there's a karmic element to it. Some people say that people who have the sun quincunx moon are paying back past life karma, where they may have been emotional emotionally manipulative or abuse power. Um, when I think about that, my mind doesn't go there, because I believe that, we take on a chart for a very specific reason. And I think that in your case, with this very spiritual Neptunian karmic direction, that of course you're going to have aspects in your chart that are difficult, because if not, you would never be able to meet that dark night of soul, which leads to healing, right? Um, but yeah, it's all about just like gaining, more self-control over like any negative habits. Like also like digging into empathy. If there are any control issues, so we'll get to that with the Pluto energy. Um, those are important things. But like a lot of people also say that there's some level of karmic guilt that comes from this. And yeah, but at the same time it is very, very powerful, and it's a force to be reckoned with. Um, so after this, having Moon and Cancer on the midheaven, that's actually really good, like for social media or for like, you know, being seen in a very public or positive light by the public. Moon on the midheaven. Um, so yeah, if you ever like were doing something like, like what I'm doing, or your inversion, um, also it just like makes you like a very like it's good for politics. It's good for anything where like it requires people trusting you and seeing you as like family, because it's Cancer Moon midheaven. So it's like, people can look at you and almost feel like you are part of their like, soul family, which is awesome, right? Um, and so the fact that Squares Pluto is one of the biggest parts of the full reading. Um, but yeah, before that, like Moon, in the 10th, it does make like the life purpose, the Dharma, super, super important. Whether that's through career or parenthood. And Cancer, it could very well be, parenthood. Um, and it makes one usually like their emotions, their moon, like they want their Dharma, their career to be very linked to their emotions, right? Um, and if there's not that emotional link, um, with what they're doing, then they can feel very, very out of sorts with, at their work or whatever, right? Um, so yeah. So I want to go here. Hmm. Oh, yeah, one other thing about that is that um a lot of people with that, they're choosing like a helping profession, because Cancer is obviously nurturing. Um, Something that makes people feel nurtured. Um, and a lot of times like wow, if you have Venus on the IC, so nice. But like, a lot of it comes from childhood. Like a lot of like the kind of career um and like major life choices are strongly influenced from usually, the mother, right? Because it's the moon. So it could also be a mother that had a major influence on you. But she's also so but also so yeah, so your moon aspects are interesting. It's opposite Venus, um and square Pluto and trine Uranus. So first of all, Moon trine Uranus. Let's just start with that one, right? That is amazing. It's not like a tight orb, but still, um, that just makes you it gives you this real freedom of self-expression to be unconventional, and um, it but it's like it's in an attractive way where people aren't like put off by it, right? So it's a really, really good one. And Moon Uranus, that's like psychic downloads, right? So yeah, and it just makes someone like excite, it creates excitement, right? It creates like an exciting life. Um, and someone who has like who's okay with being unconventional and taking a different life route than others. Um, so I guess like yeah, the moon opposite Venus. Um, Venus is on the IC, which speaks like of usually a very, so I like when I'm saying this, like there can be layers. Venus on the IC exact degree in itself is very, very good for the childhood. But then you might be hearing me saying that and being like, what? And then, we're gonna talk about the square with Pluto, which is it's 7 degrees or 6 degrees, six and change. But like, Venus on the IC, it just makes it so it makes it so the person usually it's 0.01. That's how close it is. So it just usually has really good implications for having had like a kind of tranquil childhood, or it could have been like, growing up in a very creative household. Um, and or at least, like peaceful. So on the IC, it makes it so like you have this peace within yourself. But of course, the Pluto square moon will be a big, big thing we'll talk about. Um, but yeah, it kind of makes you like the peacemaker, the diplomat, and that's also like your Libra rising adds to that as well, right? The big thing is like, being a Neptunian with Libra rising. I always say this to people who have Libra and Neptune. Um, hold on. Okay, so I always say this to people who have Libra and Pisces / Neptune is that Libra, like there's issues with boundaries, right? It's really, really important because on a physical level, Libra can be people pleasing, right? And it can have a lot of trouble allowing, like, if it doesn't want to let other people down, right? Because it wants to retain the balance all the time. And sometimes it can, allow people to put them down just so the balance is there. And the Pisces, it's energetic, right? So it's more on the level of like, like energy and need to have very, very firm boundaries. So anyone, having Libra rising, having all this Neptunian energy, it's very important to, to find ways and to be in environments, to be with the right types of people and to spend time alone, and be very firm with your boundaries, right? That's very important. Um, so and yeah, like Libra risings, yeah, like part of their journey also is just it's finding peace without letting themselves go, right? Um, so yeah, like besides that, I think like mm, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of everyone I know with Venus on the IC, and I think it just has like on the like even during tough times, like someone who's able to like find the beauty within themselves, and it's very, very good for self for self-esteem, right? I mean, it would be, right? Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just makes someone like like on an internal level like very fun, very creative, and having Venus on an angle could be an artist, right? Even though it's on the IC, not the MC, but like yeah, it gives like very, very amazing artistic talents, and just this like internal kind of like very good karmic placement, that one for sure. Um, so but sometimes like the main profession doesn't like really reflect the artistic gift. I see that a lot, but it's just like, they can be expressed in different ways. You're the artist of your own life, right? Whether it's, like how you kind of like create your life to fit who you are, right? Um, and it can definitely be someone who, like, yeah, could have like have the main job, but then have like the side hustle, um, that's more the more artistic kind of side Neptunian side hustle. So Yeah, but like really, really important there is just about having that sense of peace in your private life, in your home life. And Venus there would typically do that. But the fact that it opposes the moon, that's a conflict because you know, there's this separation between your needs and the needs of others when you have moon opposite Venus, right? Um, it can also, make people a little bit uncomfortable in social situations. And just like the Cancer versus Capricorn, it's like what you value, love language, the Capricorn and the Cancer, two very different things. So, it definitely refers to kind of relationships, for sure. And sort of the give and take that exists in relationships and kind of like just the balance of giving and receiving and how important that is. That's a big theme that comes up. Um, and it can also just indicate like a great need for love and affection, right? But sometimes it's difficult to achieve this because of the differences between the opposition. Um, so like your early relationship, especially with your mother, like with this one, is very, very impactful to how you like has a big influence on the dating life and like how this aspect like plays out. Um, however, um, yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it's just one of those placements where there's that need to like be okay with being alone, right? I say this in a lot of readings. Um, I had a post about the other day. It's like it's very, like, and I've been there before. And I'm not saying you're there. I'm just saying like I've been codependent before. Um, and it only came when I just gave up on relationships that like a good one finally came, you know? So yeah. This one, yeah, can definitely create that real strong, just like need for, yeah, and just not wanting to be alone. And then, that's when, like kind of the low potential the Libra rising can come with the boundaries if, so it's very, very key to not fear being alone. And it can also bring up some of like the low Scorpio stuff, like the possessiveness, the jealousy, and you know, the paranoia. So yeah, this is definitely one that requires some, a lot of self-love, a lot of self-acceptance. And the Neptunian energy already is asking you to make sure that you have space and you spend time alone, right? So we'll get more into like the Venus there, but I want to get into the biggest aspect of this whole chart, um, by far, what I consider, I call moon square Pluto and moon opposite Pluto the two most challenging. And it's because Pluto is crises. It's your darkness. It's your underworld. So people who have this, they're on a fast track towards death, rebirth, transformation in their life, right? They become very, so your Cancer moon, it's already, so it adds an element of Scorpio to it, right? Where it's like there can be lots of emotional dramas and very much emotional intensity. And the key word is surrender, right? Because surrender control. So life can like feel like very, very, very like loud for the moon square Pluto person. Um, the square is obviously, it's internal. So it can just make one, the moon is your emotions. The moon is like the environment you live it within your own environment within yourself, which is the moon. And when Pluto's squaring it, it can bring a lot of darkness. And it's like, it's almost like not an option it's like you're doing the shadow work or things are, or you're just not gonna, or things it really is a the soul before life being like, I'm ready to take this on. right? Don't worry, I have something just as difficult. Um, and a lot of my clients have this, by the way. So, it's another one where you can direct that intensity into creative pursuits and just overall, like, just it creates an obsessive energy that can be channeled correctly. So a lot in your chart is about channeling, right? And consistency. But the Hades moon aspect to it is really, really the mother wound, and like I think of it as like the wound that's passed on from generation to generation. There's lots of deep-seated emotional issues, right? And like I was saying, like it opens the door for these transformative experiences. Um, People with that, they tend to be very, very introspective, right? They're exploring their inner self. Um, but it is one of the core mother wounds. And you know, like the world can feel unsafe because of some early experiences with this, even though you have Venus on the IC. So I was saying, like, there could have been like a peaceful home life, but then, like, there's two things can happen at the same time, not to be mutually exclusive. So I think like the Hades moon is really, mm, hold on one second. Yeah. I think the fact that you're already a Cancer moon, like it's a lot more difficult if it's like a moon that does not relate to Pluto at all, right? Pluto, Scorpio, water, Cancer. So, but yeah, like the emotions run very, very deep, and have great access to your deep, your personal underworld. Um, so you'd be someone who, like in relationships, would need someone who is willing to go deep with you, right? Because and who understands that sensitivity. Um, Sometimes like cord cutting is something that can be very necessary. Um, like whatever this is going on with the mother, it's usually the mother. Like moon, like I'm so given up on like trying to say moon, mother, son, father, but like with this, I would assume that there's something in the family. But yeah, this, like I said, earlier, like this is the shadow worker placement, and sometimes people with this, or the opposition, they try so hard to hang on to control, and they don't surrender, and they keep fighting, resisting, and then it makes it worse, right? And then they get relationships, and they just throw all of this because it can also be very linked to abandonment, right? Um, so people who don't get through that, um, and like I said, generational pain, right? That gets passed on, passed down in the DNA. So but like with the abandonment stuff, like if people don't get past that, then in relationships they can use like very coercive, manipulative tactics to try to keep their partner with them, um, controlling stuff like that, right? So usually the Hazeman child comes in the world feeling unsafe. There could have been like a difficult birth, um, traumatic birth of some sort. Sometimes there's even like a feeling of like not wanting to incarnate again, right? Not to like, you know, like it's just fucking intense, right? So yeah, there's just that need like to really cut that cord. And once again, like, you're here to blaze your own path. You're not here to follow mom or dad, right? Um, and one cool thing to think about this is like, what if you're getting like a resonance from what I'm saying? It's like, imagine how crazy it is if this, whatever it is, has been passed on from like 30 generations in your family, and you're the one that can break it. How crazy is that? It can happen at any time in your life. Like maybe it's already happened, but yeah, props to you. Um, so yeah, karmically, it can relate to like past traumas and past lives, to the emotional body. And you know, that's another thing you can think about. Um, it can be like what I think about this sometimes for myself. It's like if I'm going through something like a very big time, I'm thinking like, there could have been a past life where I was in this exact same position, maybe not in a way it looked exactly the same, and I failed, and I want to take the higher route in this lifetime, right? So it's always, the more difficult route obviously is always, it's never easier. Um, so yeah, usually it's at a young age that the person, like feels pain and, very scorpionic kind of energy, like seeing the world, the cynicism of the world early on. Um, and yeah, like this, like I said, it's the generational curse breaker, changing the ancestral generational patterns, fucking heavy stuff, right? Um, there's people who talk about how in different families, like people kind of like in some families, I don't know how much I believe in this, like I do in some level. I don't think it like relates to everything, but like certain families that are just always reincarnating in the same family, or not always, but like really, really just like I don't know how it works, but like you know what I mean? Like imagine like there's like in your family like just this continuous reincarnation until something's broken, right? Um, So yeah, I have so many clients who have this or the opposition. More this, I would say. Um, so yeah. How do you heal it? Well, it's just like that deep exploration of the unconscious mind, anything from dream work, meditation, it goes through their north node, right? And your north node is 12th house, which could also be linked to your family, and Venus on the IC also could make you able with your Mercury Uranus psychic as like mind connection to be able to communicate with your ancestors and like channeling, like that could be very, very possible. Um, but yeah, just it's all about like the shadow work, like confronting traumas for what they are, in whatever way you decide to, whether it's therapy, whatever, and just a lot of self-reflection, journaling, contemplating your inner world, um, really, really getting that stuff out. And as I always tell my Neptunians, using your phone camera and filming yourself or using a mirror is one of like the life hacks for Neptunians, because Neptunian rules mirrors and cameras. So if you did like a daily vlog, you have to show anyone where you're just talking about this, your emotions and stuff, it could be the best thing. And of course, self-compassion, forgiveness, like just like being patient and kind with yourself. It's a process. It takes time, right? And the Virgo Mars, right? Like I said, it can be very hard on oneself. And Mars in the 12th house can make someone kind of self-deprecate and self-sabotage in certain situations, right? So, you know, it can be very intense, right? Very challenging process. But the rewards are immense and um just like unbelievable. So um so yeah, that's the shadow work. Where the chart? Okay. So like I said, Libra, it is um it is in a good relationship with Sag, but it squares the moon. So when you have that square of moon in ascendant, it makes it so on an emotional level you have all this intensity we just talked about, right? And all this. Also, the thing with Cancer moon is that Cancer moon sometimes when it gets hurt, it's like a crab that crawls back in the shell and doesn't want to be vulnerable again, right? So that's another big thing. And also 10th house moon, sometimes there can be too much of an emotional connection to career. So because it's that axis, you're trying to find that balance between inner life and outer life, right? Um, but yeah, so the Libra can definitely make people, you're ruled by Venus, right? So you come off very beautiful, very elegant, all that Libra way. Um, but then people do not see until they get to know you this intensity that I just mentioned. That's one of the issues with what can happen there, right? So, and even with your sun with Neptune on it, people can project on you a lot, right? So it's really important to have that really firm definition of who you are, right? Which comes through that spiritual relationship, whatever way, that could be through art, that can be so many different ways. I'm not just prescribing one way. Okay, so ruling planet Venus has very nice aspects. Trine, Chiron, Trine, ooh, Venus, Trine, Jupiter, love that. Venus, Trine, Mars. Okay. So, take into that, or should I just do Mercury? Yeah, let's do Mercury actually. And then I'll start to talk about like the love stuff. So Mercury, okay, you have this amazing placement of Mercury and Scorpio conjunct Uranus. So why is that so? And it's sextile Saturn. So that is for sure you're super smart. For sure. Um, Mercury sextile, Mercury in a nice aspect to Saturn. Saturn is memory, it's consistency, it's responsibility. Mercury is the mind, cognitive process, communication. And already Mercury in Scorpio makes someone a very deep, probing thinker. They want to get to the bottom of things, and they talk in an intense way. And they really want to transform their ability to think, and they want to transform the things they think about. They want to like let go of different ideas that they're no longer serving, which is very in line with the your Sag part, right? And it's also very, very esoteric, wanting to dive deep beneath the surface into like the core of all matters. You know so yeah, anti-superficial, but sometimes they can be warriors. Mercury and Scorpio, they can worry a little bit. And yeah, so the fact that's with Uranus, right? This is the second. So um that could make you be able to like earn money through like communicating in some way, potentially. um Having like very ingenious ideas that lead to money. um but this is like the inventor aspect, right? Uranus conjunct Mercury, it's 0.25, it's a smack together, right? um just this ingenious mind, right? It makes someone usually speak quite fast and think very fast too. Very outside the box thinker, very progressive, very ahead of their time. And sometimes they get shit for that because sometimes when they grow up, that's why I guess that your Chiron was Gemini, because I see that so much with that kind of Mercury Uranus. It's that sometimes they're ahead of their parents early on, and they get shot. The parents kind of like tell them, like make them doubt their own intelligence, kind of gaslighting them or something. But yeah, it just gives like it's an eccentric genius. It's like the brilliant mind. And it's just about being able to like slow down, because these ideas, these downloads come from nowhere. So when you meditate and when you're dreaming, like when you're in your flow state, like you will just get these ideas. So cool. And lightning speed is because it's lightning, Uranus, right? So yeah, it's this mental activity is, so sometimes one thing to watch out for, and this goes with some other stuff, is jumping to conclusions too fast. Um, because sometimes there can be like a lack of like analysis. But then the Virgo Mars is all about analysis, right? Um, but besides that, there can be like just getting bored very fast. Um, like getting really into a subject and then kind of like getting over it. So, mhm. So what else? Yeah, Uranus rules astrology. Could be, like I said, like technology, stuff like that. Um, And Mercury is the traditional ruler of astrology. Uranus is the modern ruler. So to have them together, who knows? Watch you have Urania aspect like on your midheaven. If I now I'm starting to say like random shit I think about because I used to like think these things and then like they would be true, and I'm not saying it's gonna be true. I mean the odds are so low, but like I would never be able to prove it. It's annoying. Um, so this is another one that can lead to anxiety, like kind of nervous irritability, impatience. So it's just like once again, meditation, grounding, slowing down, um, going with the flow. Because there can be mental exhaustions, accidents, just too much electricity up here, which is good, right? But it's like your Ferrari, but you have to learn to. Um, and yeah, it just goes with what I've been talking about lately, which is just like being like, in America, like there's such this like go-getter energy, which it's good in some respects, but at the same time, like when it becomes an addiction where like you're getting up, you have to go, 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 and if you're not being productive, you're fucked. It's like I think that there's no way you cannot be like productive. Um, so I think the idea of just like, you know, leaning into that Libra rising, which is so flowy, right? And just like kind of like easing into your day. Well, I mean, everyone's different with how they go about their days. I'm more of a night person. So, um, so yeah, you'll have Cardinals, so definitely like a self-starter, someone who takes initiative. And yeah, like I said, with Libra, like there's the indecision is one part I didn't talk about, right? And just like being too relationship oriented. So yeah, like just thinking too much of the needs of others is one thing with Libra too, Libra rising. But yeah, the indecisiveness that comes from not having that, I call it constitution of self, where you have the values and morals and rules, and that's what you're making your decisions based off of. And leaning into the opposite sign of which is Aries, that is the medicine for each sign, right? And it's really about like you know assertiveness and just going for it, action, brute force. All right, so all right, okay, Venus is a chart ruler. It is over here somewhere. It's hiding from me. Yeah, no, we talked about this in Capricorn. Okay, so there was a Mars. I want to talk about like all the love stuff. Mars. Okay, so Mars is with your North Node. It's in Virgo. Mars in Virgo, I always say it's a difficult ass placement, but like I see that more for men than women, for being honest. But basically, there can be a very big perfectionism streak, especially with Jupiter there too, and it can be your own self undoing with Black Moon Lilith there too, big time, right? So it's like I always give this metaphor, this example of each day is from 0 to 100, right? If we're rating it, there's going to be days where you are at an 80. There's going to be other days where you're at 70, other days 90, 60, 40. It's about like, because a lot of times Virgos, they're black or white. Virgo, this kind of Virgo energy, it's like, if I can't get 110, I'm going to let myself fall to 0. And sometimes like people with Virgo energy see themselves as here and other people here. I've observed this. I have lots of Virgos in my life. Um, so it's really about and it makes you very observant. Like I always say, like if I wanted like someone to do my taxes, it would be like a Mars and Virgo person, like someone to like taxes sounds like a diss. Like someone who like an assistant, or like someone who like a business partner, someone who I have to really rely on. Um to like not miss out on like very observant, physically observant. But sometimes it can be too much, especially when you're observing all of the little things. It can be a little bit flow breaking. But because it's mutable Earth and it's in the 12th house, it's asking you to dissolve that with a North Node. So if your life is of service, if you're living a life of service, and compassion, it's the best possible thing. And then also, having Saturn in the 12th house, there's these fears, right? The fear of anything hidden is what they say, right? And there's a big need with the 12th house. And also it's going back to boundaries, like feeling like the boundaries are constantly threatened. right? So, and it can bring like hidden enemies. But it gets easier. You pass your Saturn return anyways, but it creates someone who, like, through a serious examination of the hidden realms, the esoteric and all these hidden realms, can conquer, any fears, right? Shit, I just lost my train of thought. Um, yeah, that happens. Anyways, we'll come back. So yeah, like overall, like, um, 12th house, people with lots of 12th house, like especially the North Node, Saturn. Oh yeah, I remembered. But like it's really honestly like the hack is just being assertive. I'm not saying you have to quit your job and join a charity, but like if what you're doing is really with compassion and with God, with whatever universe, whatever you want to call the whatever, that's the best. And look, like I think with Saturn the 12th is that it just emphasizes the importance of having a sense of humor about life. Life is funny. Like the cosmic joke is just like look up the cosmic joke, right? It's not like a joke, it's just like a term that I can't explain right now. But it's kind of just like, everything at the end of the day is kind of pointless to be so serious about. And I don't mean that in a nihilistic way. I'm just saying, like, if you look back on something that really upset you 3 years ago, maybe ruined your day, does it matter now? You know? So just like being able to like have like a sense of humor around tough times and whatnot. So besides that, okay. So yeah, Mars and Virgo, you're really trying to get the best energy of that, which, people with that, they go towards what they want in a very methodical way. And it's about getting past that self-criticism, then it can become a great thing, and allowing that sense of that, that of action to just flow. Um, and yeah, like the 12th house Mars, as I said, it's like the sense of personal power feels eroded sometimes, and like the kind of going in cycles. Like there can be like random emotional outbursts. I remember my good friend was dating a guy who had this, and he just like would do these fucking just out of nowhere dumb things, totally self-sabotaging him in their relationship, like when things were going good, and like 12th house Mars. So it's not always like that, but it's that vague sense of loss of direction that can come when one's not spiritually aligned. Um, and definitely, with the whole material to spiritual, like this is more on the material side, but like it's really important to have a balance of the two, right? But of course, like spiritual is such a major part of your life. Okay, Venus, ruling planet of the chart. It is over there on your IC, so it makes it stronger on an angle. Um, so yeah, Venus and Capricorn, they really value security. They value love. They really I'm gonna go downstairs. It's driving, but they want relationships that are gonna stand the test of time, and that are going to you know like they don't want to muck around, right? And then you have your Juno, which is like your ideal mate, how I see it, right? In Cancer. So it's like those are opposing, but like both of those signs are about security. One is about emotional security, the other one's about, like, or both, like there is that need for financial security too. That's just part of security, right? It's not in a gold digger way at all. It's like, having like a like very it's more traditional on the love front, right? Um, and it's on the IC, so that would make one really want to be like kind of a homebody, and have like very close relation, like have a family, and have a very beautiful home life, and yeah, just like harmonious kind of energy. But Venus and Capricorn, sometimes it's not until their Saturn return that the best relationship starts to get going. And usually like it's they can be a bit shy, and they can have self-esteem issues up until like their Saturn return. It gets easier after that. So yeah, like a lot of times when you see like Saturn, Venus, or 1 second, I have to make sure that they always screw up my address. Taz, este aici, puteți să intra acolo, aproape din gunoiul? Da, over here. Oh, perfect. Și scara de. Perfect. Și 11. Mersi. Okay. Thank God. Figure out food. So yeah, like Venus and Caps, like they want legit relationships. They don't want to muck around, as I said, and they can be shy, and they want to form them slowly, and they'd rather like spend time, and they want things that endure. It's found Capricorn is foundations, right? So foundations, when you think of a skyscraper that's being built, it takes time, right? It takes time to build the foundations, and then after strong foundations, you can build something that lasts. So, also Venus rules money. So Venus, with all these nice aspects, is very, very good for money. Now you do have Uranus and Mercury in the second. So Uranus in the second, sometimes it can make money go up and down, and it can create minimalists. But the Venus in Capricorn is usually very responsible when it comes to finances, and yeah. But with Uranus, yeah, can just sudden changes in income out of nowhere, money here one moment, gone the next. But can also make ingenious ideas, like entrepreneurial ideas, right? So aspect wise, I need to go get the door. So yeah, Venus trine Mars. Wow, that's a nice one. That's it. Yeah. So let's see here. So basically, I need to get some. So yeah, Venus. So Mars is over there in Virgo, and Venus. Yeah. So that's kind of a dual energy. It's a similar energy, right? To have this this Mars in Virgo, and this Venus in Capricorn. It's similar, and basically that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. And hold on one second. So yeah, one second. I'm just giving my girlfriend thing. Open your door. So yeah, the Venus trine Mars is definitely like very. I mean, I see it as like a super talent for just like, I don't know, like I've always seen people with that as like very, very good socially. That's how I've seen it. But of course, I have mentioned like the potential for anxiety, overthinking with the Mars, the Virgo energy. But I don't know. I think like it definitely creates kind of like a level of fun to your partnership that you normally wouldn't get with just like that, the energies of Capricorn and Venus. But then you are sad, right? So with love, you also, you're and then the Juno and Capricorn in the 10th house, it's really wanting something serious. I don't see you as someone who just wants something just to have fun or whatever. I mean, everyone can have their times in their life, right? But yeah. So it's really a great ability to balance intimacy and independence with Venus trine Mars. That's kind of the best way I could put it, right? And also because Venus represents creativity. It's also good for money. Can't forget that. But it can also make people like, oh shit, I dropped my phone. Oh great. And the camera. Okay, that's great. Any, my phone survive any scratches? Never get scratched so far. So, well, anyways, so yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's the piece also with with trines sometimes is that we can take our like trines are talents, right? Some would say they're karmic talents. This is a very, great creative one. And it can also give the drive, with Mars to actually go towards the Venus, like creative kind of artistic stuff. But a lot of times with trines, people like they have, especially with Virgo, excuse me, they can think that everyone else has it and they can take it for these skills for granted that they have. Okay, so Mars with Jupiter, I told you how many, oh no, Venus with, okay, so you have Jupiter, Venus, and Mars all trining Chiron. Healer, healer, healer. Um, so Venus trine Chiron is amazing. Just a gifted healer, gifted teacher, someone who has this energy, this empathy that can put people at ease, right? Who can see the beauty in people, right? The Neptune helps that too. And really, really heal psychological wounds and really know, like, have a very calming, like, energy towards people. Like, this is like you're made for a healer with this. And a lot of healers have that Pluto square moon because they have to go through that early on so that they can evolve and then be able to help others is their real life purpose, right? With your moon on the midheaven, I could totally see you being someone who's like a big, like a psychologist or someone who's really, really like, I don't know. It's always hard with the career stuff. Like life happens. It could literally be mother. Some people like they're meant to be, like to be the mother, right? Like, because Cancer is the mother. Like people have different purposes and different lifetimes and different purposes, multiple purposes within lifetimes, right? It could be mother at one point and then it could switch up. So yeah, and then but also like Cancer could represent real estate. So you could be like a real estate tycoon. Who knows? So Mars and Chiron, it just gives someone like someone who's like the voice, you know, the voice for people who don't have a voice. Someone who is not afraid to be, to it's just someone, it's similar, but it's more of like someone who like not like aggressive, but like where there's like an assertiveness in terms of the healing. And someone who's not afraid to go at like kind of the unspoken sensitive issues, right? So yeah. Um and yeah, it could be someone who like, Mars goes towards their teacher destiny. And then Jupiter with exact trine and Chiron is just like with the gift of wisdom, like just like you trusting your own intuitive nature, and being able to really teach other people, who are kind of on the spiritual path and have people really trust you. Um, and you can take on different philosophies, like different worldviews, without feeling like threatened. And just um, people will tell you their secrets. People will trust you with their kind of spiritual, emotional issues, which obviously is amazing for and Jupiter Chiron just like it just expands one's status slash one's being as a healer. Beautiful. So besides that, yeah, so Venus trine Jupiter, that's maybe it's, oh my god, it's 0.00, it's an exact trine. And this is like one of the best ones in all astrology. Just in terms of like putting other people at ease, enthusiasm, happiness, larger than life kind of ideas, um, but just getting very lucky. And having Jupiter, it makes these two houses, so like the 12th and the fourth, right? So those are two of the water houses. It just adds a lot of like most likely, when times get tough, really, really being able to kind of lean on this energy. It's very optimistic energy. And this will make it so even with like that really harsh Pluto one, that you'd still have that ability to probably smile and get through things, right? Um, so this is a really, really good karma. It's one of the best like aspects ever, like it exists. Um, and there wasn't anything, yeah, because there's no there like I'm trying to see. Yeah, I mean Jupiter squares the sun, but that's not like so harsh. So yeah, it just lessens hardships in life, and it brings like joy. So everything I was saying earlier about the sun moon, like this in the Pluto moon, like this makes that easier, right? And it definitely creates like an ease in terms of like showing love and affection. Um, good morals, just good person, popular also, and very charismatic, adventurous. I mean, I can go on and on about like what's Venus, what's, like how these two beautiful planets come together. Um, just, you know, it's a beautiful combination. Even for leadership and getting people behind you, obviously creativity is, is great. Um, like music especially, I see a lot of, yeah. So also just like having fun, like enjoying parties, celebrations, kind of like Leo energy, I feel, but the only thing is to not overindulge in like food, drink, drugs. That's the only thing, especially with the square to Jupiter. Um, so let's see if there's fixed stars that do anything. But anyway, besides that, okay, so Pluto in the first house, that's the ultimate test of so it makes you a very transformative leader, that potential. Um, and a very personal kind of intense, sometimes not really in your face, but like this personality that takes on kind of like like outer personality. Like yeah, you're Libra rising, but that Pluto there makes it kind of more Scorpio-y, a little bit more Scorpio-y, and it gives you this real like lightness mixed with this kind of like don't fuck with me darkness. Um, and it's the ultimate like ego versus soul kind of test, right? The ego's wants versus the soul's needs. That becomes like a theme. And there can be some trauma around like past life trauma around feeling empowered, but once you fully go into that, into independence, that's when everything opens up. So um so yeah, the Neptune in the third by itself, that's just another amazingly creative one for the mind. Being able to really communicate through the arts and through kind of more abstract way of the of thinking, and the only thing with Neptune the third is that there can be like mental confusion sometimes, but if channeled correctly, it could create someone who's like able to write like mystical poetry, who's able to like really just tap in through their mind into like the spiritual realms and just get things, get these very, very high abstract, esoteric teachings, and just really, really be creative and create amazing, amazing stuff. And it's with your son. So yeah. Um, so wow, I'm going along. Holy shit. So yeah, descendant is in Aries, so you might be attracted also to like that assertive energy, that independent energy. Um, and then you have like Chiron in the eighth house. Um, so that can sometimes be linked to like some issues with sexuality early on, not always. It could be feeling inadequate sexually. There could be some trauma of that respect there. um the overall Chiron house is like just feeling very, very sensitive to like the undercurrents of the world, like really, really picking up on everything, right? But it's very good for being a healer. Eighth house is the house of Scorpio, so transformative healer. Drinking in juicy juice. um so um Yeah, Saturn. Oh yeah, Saturn's in Virgo too, so that's like, you know, hardworking, good at problem solving. And you know, it could make someone very good at, you know, following like kind of a disciplined routine. And yeah, could work in some kind of service field for sure. Okay, so let's go. So part of fortune is on your south node. So in Pisces in the sixth, you know, that's kind of like your flow state, flow place, you at your best, you and your love and life, all that. You know, so sixth house. So that's like really like saying like, service equals joy. Um, and you know, spiritual unity equals joy, right? Those two things together. That's what that's saying. And on your south node, refining your past life like talents equals joy, right? Like compassionate service, the collective, and also the whole like consistency thing, whether it's like, you know, with the physical health, mental health, um, spiritual health, emotional, every you know. Also, pets could bring you lots. Like this little baby. I was gonna say hi. She didn't okay. Well, she did. She just mid water. Okay, so let's see. So we went over this. So Vesta is in Taurus in the eighth, so that makes one very hardworking in terms of finding the mysteries of life and, you know, just getting through the mysteries, metaphysics, and yeah, like, you know, just wanting to really move beyond the superficial. And Vesta Taurus can work in like a stable, consistent manner, which is very good. Um, yeah, I talked about Black and Lilith and Virgo. Basically, it's just that whole perfectionism thing and the potential of like being too hard on yourself and then like self imploding. So I already kind of addressed that. You know, um, so yeah, there's just like this need to like kind of focus on like the like lighter, like you do have a lot of light in your chart, right? So it's like it's not really that, but yeah, like really learning self discipline and not being overly, yeah, just like not being overly judgmental of any term, um, of yourself and others. That's how I see it. You know, because like in love, what can happen is that, you know, you can always find something wrong with someone, you know, and I always say this, like my post yesterday, like it's just like there's always something that can be wrong with someone, right? And sometimes Virgo people like I've experienced a few. You know, I'm not saying any of this. Like your whole chart is free will. You know, your chart meets your free will, right? But I've seen them like just like red flag, and it's like no, like that would like give the person a chance, you know. So Pallas is in Aquarius, so that's another like very genius, like, you know, brilliant mind, very, you know, kind of in line with that Uranus conjunct Mercury. Very good at grasping new ideas, outside the box thinking, kind of humanitarian thinking, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, very insightful and very individualistic kind of, yeah, mind and kind of planner. And Palace in the fifth is just giving like lots of like original creative ideas, and lots of artistic talent, which we talked a million times, and it can bring intelligent children. Okay, so Vertex is in the seventh in Aries, so you know it's really your doorway to higher awareness is through regaining your own independence, like the Mars opposite South node, like really retaking that independence that's yours, your sovereignty, and also doing that in relationships and having relationships, that partnerships, relationships where you are really you know, still keeping independence and having firm boundaries. So Ceres, I didn't say it's like a second moon, but not as important, not even close, obviously, but it's on your descendant. So you know, Ceres on the descendant on the seventh house, um, it just makes one like love relationships and really feel nurtured when they're in balanced relationships. It's an Aries though. Um, so it's like really like about there's a potential for codependency with that one, but there's not, enough in this chart to really make me think that that's the case. But you never know. You never know. Like I've seen charts done like this would never be codependent, and they are codependent. So it's I don't try to like unless I see like so much stuff. There's some charts where I'm like, yeah, there's probably a codependency. I've been right, but I wouldn't say that for this one. Could be. Who knows? So Spheres and Aries, they are very happy when other people, loved ones, whoever, allows them to grow independently, allows them to be independent, and they give that back in return. And they hate feeling caged in. That's like their most suffering. Okay. Let's see if I was right about Urania. Nope, it's on your midheaven. Too bad for me. So you have Zosma conjunct Jupiter. It's not like such a close one, but Zosma is one of the truth-seeking, like very linked to like astrology and esoteric. So Jupiter, you could have expansive knowledge of that. It's not like a smack on one, but yeah. So Fortuna is one of the ones that Haley's more into. But from what she's told me, it's about fame and it's conjunct your Mars. So it could be fortune. Yes, it's Fortuna. So it's like yes, it's about fortune, success. So yeah, it could very well be about succeeding in kind of areas related to the Virgo North Node, right? Um, okay, so is that serious? Serious on the moon. Ooh, that's a money one. That's why the U.S. is founded on 4th of July because it's Serious Day. So 4th of July for you, and you live in the U.S. or you're American. Um, you have a serious moon, so it'd be funny if right now you're like, holy shit, I have had really, really interesting days on 4th of July. I guess a lot of people have, but okay, so nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. What is this? Your sun is very close to the great attractor, I see. It was the one to pull this up. Sag. I'm really going above and beyond for you. I hope you know that. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Why did it not show? Is this it? No, that's not it. See, I don't have information about the great attractor. I just know it's like a black hole, galactical mystic. Oh, they say it's at 14 Sag. I thought it was at 12, but that's even better. That's right on your sun. So, read about that. But I just want to see anything on here. No, no. Little, Okay, so we can end on that then. Doesn't see anything else. No. Oh, I want to look at 9 Cancer and 8 Libra. There's Alhina. So I've never heard of this star. Alhina, on the midheaven. It says success in literary and legal professions. That's all I got for you for that one. Wait, what was the other? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, Sirius, duh. So Sirius, so Sirius is it's obviously very, very, very good for success. So that's a really nice star to have. And it's very good for success in business and having influential friends of the opposite sex. It's favorable for the father, good for health. Um, so yeah, it's a very, very good one. And now the great attractor. So mysterious galactic anomaly appearing to be a massive concentration of mass and energy. It hungrily devours neighboring galaxies at the impossible to imagine speed of 600 kilometers a second. Blah blah blah. This is a concentration of mass thousands of times greater than the Milky Way. Yet accurate understandings elude our scientists, and the great attractor remains incalculable and incomprehensible. It's thought to be the gravitational center of the Liniaca supercluster. Our own Milky Way is one of 100,000 galaxies in this cluster. Acting like a galactic bully, its unfathomable gravity warps space and time and bends light, yet it lacks an event horizon which it would have if it was simply a black hole. Although it recedes from our galaxy at a very high speed, at the same time there's extreme measurable ultraviolet energy that suggests it is approaching. What? It's fascinating. The great attractor is comprised of dark energy, which is one theory. Then it has to be a different, unknown, more powerful type of dark energy. Spiritually and astrologically, this offers much to chew on. The great attractor is mysterious, unknowable, seduces, and draws in, yet we don't know if she's coming or going. Philip Sedgwick says, while this complex point actively recedes, it summons an energy of come hither. Once engaged, this pull exceeds anything known. The attraction to this point possesses a seductive tone. Yeah, it's seductive, mysterious, but in a classical Sagittarian mode. There's something about it. It seems to possess this energy. It's mysterious, it's captivating, be it might even be a direct personification of the creator. In the classical Sagittarius vibe, it's not easy to know well. So in comes the theme of destiny, fate, and free will. It's suggestive that once one has entered this current, the outcome is set in stone. You'll be devoured, consumed. No doubt the pull is crazy hard. It's not impossible to resist. Is that really true though? I like to think that we always have a choice and that our strength and power are unknowable, unit triggered by a potent seductive current that feels like it could be a trap, or your destiny, or the voice of the creator. So it says, with any prominent conjunctions, your sun, the great attractor, these themes above can be colorfully present, and the querent will feel this wild, wide ride energy, where we are free and where are we free and where are we fated? What part do we play in the destiny of others? Interesting. So I didn't really ever, I mean, I didn't have any of that at the tip of my tongue, but super, super fascinating stuff. Great attractor. All right, this is my longest reading in a long time, but you're awesome, and I appreciate you a lot. Hope you enjoyed. And did you get the follow-up? Let me check. Yes, you did. So I don't know if you know, nearly everyone that gets readings from moi, not everyone, most people, you already have the follow-up. So I'll ask you right now if you want to add the current astrology. So that is, you get this chart done once, nailed chart, current astrology. I use every predictive technique. I'm not saying like you're gonna meet this person on this day. Like it's about understanding like the year ahead, year plus ahead, and I call it like the energetic weather for you personally. Solar return, progressions, transits, housing grass, the progress chart, progress lunar cycle, everything, solar arc, everything that I know with current astrology mixed with psychology. And it's just us in a 3-hour session. First hour, we go over just the natal chart, your experience with the natal, but that's already happening regardless. And then we move seamlessly into the current. It's not a long wait like this. It can be done as, in the coming weeks. So yeah, let me know and I'll give you a big discount. I would give you a discount. I first probably know the price. I think it's like $350. That is very, very, like, it's very, everyone says it's more than worth it. It is $350, but I would do it for, I would give you $60 off. You have to remind me. So it would be, well, it would be $290. That's how much I would receive. So actually, it might end up being $50 off because, yeah, because the fees. But let me know if you want to do that. And let me know if you have any questions. And if you just want to set up only the current, then we can do whatever you want. Never pressure with me. All right. I'm gonna get this put up. And yeah. Thank you so much. 2-hour reading, my first one in a long time. All right. Ciao.